All right. Good morning. What's up, everybody? Matt Moda here with another live stream of Fast Break Bets presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Everybody knows we're live 11 a.m. every Wednesday and Friday. As for today, we have a 10-game NBA slate, which means that we are going to have exactly 10 picks, which is always fun when it works out that way. As for our last stream, the mediocrity continued a little bit. We didn't get crushed. We hit on 6 of our picks. We hit on 5 of our picks. We got 6 wrong. So we ended up going 5 and 6. But we did not get enough of the juicy plus money bangers to cash. So we were slightly down 0.45 units. That brings our total profit on the year. We are up 6.05 units with an ROI of 2.79%. And we have a win-loss record. We're 106 and 111. It's always nice when you can beat up money with a losing record, and having an ROI just below 3% over 200 picks does make a little bit of sense. But I have a feeling we're going to have a bounce back day today. Both streams last week were pretty mediocre. Let's hope that does end up being the case. As always, make sure to subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel. Get all your questions, comments, anything in the chat. I see a couple people in there now. I appreciate you. Tyshawn Bland, yes, let's get this money. KD, Kevin Durant, I appreciate you for being in the chat. And Scott, good morning to you as well. And then, of course, you can find me any social media you want at Jedi Modai. And let's get into it. So as I mentioned, we are going to have 10 picks today. Our first pick that we're going to go ahead and lock in here is in the Timberwolves versus Celtics game. And we're taking Jaylen Brown under 3.5 assists. This is at plus 130 odds at DraftKings. So for starters, this was a pretty nice positive expected value play that I found using the Betting Pros app. It's a 33% positive EV play. And Betting Pros gives Jaylen Brown a 58% chance of going under this number. That's pretty good. Over 50% win percentage is pretty good for something that we're getting plus 130 odds on. Now, one thing that I do want to note before we get into the actual analysis is this is the first half of a back-to-back for the Celtics. Right now, they have 3 guys listed as questionable, 3 important guys, Porzingis, Drew Holiday, and Al Horford. As of right now, nobody is confirmed out, but that might happen over the course of the day. With that said, any combination of those 3 guys being listed out wouldn't really scare me off of this play. I still like fading the Jaylen Brown assists. For starters, he's never been known as a playmaker. It's actually one of the things he's been very much criticized for is the fact that he has a roughly 1-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. He's a career 2.3 assists per game player. He's never averaged more than 3.5 assists per game. Now, I will admit, this is, as of right now, he is currently averaging a career high in assists. That number is 3.6. So it's not like he's blowing it out of the water. And the assists are starting to come down. He's gone under this number in 6 of his last 8 games. And now he has a very tough matchup against a very good Timberwolves defense. The Timberwolves allow both the fewest assists per game just total and the second fewest assists total and the second fewest assists per game to shooting guards specifically. So for a plus 130 play, I really do like fading Jaylen Brown assists. Hopefully he doesn't come through for us by getting this under. Next up, this is in the Kings versus Hornets game. We're taking De'Aaron Fox over 5.5 assists. The best odds you can get on this per the Betting Pros consensus is at minus 130. I don't love the minus 130 odds here. And I will say for today's stream, we have a little bit more non-plus money bangers than usual. It's just kind of how the value fell today. But I really do like this play. It's a fade of recent results and a pretty juicy matchup against the Hornets. So the last 3 games, which is obviously is a tiny sample size, but it's been a slow stretch for Fox, both from a points and an assist perspective. In terms of assists specifically, he's gone under in 3 straight games, having exactly 4 assists in all 3 of those games. But what I like to look at in situations like this is anything dramatically changing in terms of usage rate, assist rate, potential assists, stuff like that. And the answer is no. On the year, he's averaging just about 6 assists per game and 11.4 potential assists per game. First of all, that's pretty bad luck in terms of your assist to potential assist ratio. But since this cold streak started, which was on January 5th, again, he's averaging exactly 4 assists per game. He's gotten exactly 4 in 3 games. his potential assists aren't dramatically down. They are down, yes, but they're down to 10.3. So it's about a 1 potential assist difference, averaging 2 fewer assists. So to me, that's showing bad luck in that the assists shouldn't have plummeted as far as they have. For reference, I looked at people around De'Aaron Fox in terms of their potential assists versus their actual assists. Both Austin Reeves and Anthony Simons are both averaging exactly 10.3 potential assists per game, the same number as Fox. But Reeves is averaging 7 assists per game, and Simons is averaging 6 assists per game. So they're both 2 and 3 assists above De'Aaron Fox. So again, that's telling me that this recent cold streak is more bad luck, specifically from assists than anything. Now he gets a great matchup against the Hornets. The Hornets have the second worst defense in the NBA, according to net rating. These two teams just played prior to this cold streak on January 2nd, and Fox went over with exactly 6 assists, but that's still an over. So even at the minus 130 odds, I do like the Fox assist here. So that's our second play. Before we get into our next pick, what I want to talk to you about is the, the Betting Pros app. First of all, I put all of my picks on the app, so you can find it bettingpros.com/Modi. You can find the app at bettingpros.com/apps. What I love about the app and what I use the most is the cheat sheet. What it does, and I talked about it, like, the win percentage and what Betting Pros talks about and stuff. The way it works is Betting Pros comes out with their own projections and then gives you recommended picks based on their projections and the sportsbook lines, what the sportsbooks are offering. And you can filter it and sort it however way you want. You can sort it by win percentage. So if you're looking to kind of lock in a parlay with higher win percentage plays, you can do that. You can just filter or sort by just the highest percent of positive expected value. Or if you like to do what I do and find pumped up props, you can filter by the biggest gap between the Betting Pros projections and the sportsbooks ones. So really helpful stuff with the recommended picks, the cheat sheet. You can also sign up for a free trial of the premium offering that Betting Pros offers. Now, we're going to get into that in a little bit more detail in a little bit, but you can sign up for the premium offering. And then you can also sync directly with your sportsbooks, which I think is awesome. You don't need to track manually anything. It syncs directly with your sportsbooks. So I recommend, again, checking out the Betting Pros app, bettingpros.com/apps. Next up, we are on our third pick of the day. Victor Wembanyama over 3.5 blocks. You can get this at plus 140 per the Betting Pros consensus. One note that I want to make here is that DraftKings is offering the over 2.5 at minus 180, but I decided to pump the numbers up a little bit to get juicier odds. Technically, the over 2.5 was a positive expected value play on Betting Pros, but again, the odds were so steep that I decided to just go up one more. Betting Pros also projects Wemby to have over 3 blocks. And I get that 4 blocks might seem insane, but just look at what Wembanyama has done recently. Here are his last 10 games, which is a pretty decent sample size, 10 games. We're going from farthest away to most recent. 6 blocks, and then 2, 4, 3, 5, 7, 1, 4, 5, 5. I know that was a lot of numbers. What you need to know is that he's had 4 or more blocks in 7 of his last 10 games, including 3 straight, and in 5 of 6. He's been on fire from a block perspective. Now he gets the luxury of going up against the Pistons, who have been blocked the most by centers in the NBA. Sorry, I tried to figure out the best way to word that. The Pistons have been blocked the most in the NBA, specifically by centers. So hopefully that makes sense. And just in terms of them getting blocked so frequently, that makes sense when you look at their roster construction. They basically have no shooting, especially at the beginning of the year. They got some guys back healthy, so their shooting's a little bit better, but it's still not a good spaced team. The spacing, there's no shooting, so everything is so condensed, which means that Victor Wembanyama should have ample opportunity to block a bunch of shots with everything so cramped, especially with no Cade Cunningham running the offense. So 4 blocks might seem a lot, but it makes sense when you look at how Wembanyama is playing. So I like that play a lot. Next up, this is in the Wizards versus Pacers game. We're taking Deni Avdija under 20.5 points plus rebounds. This is at minus 115 odds at DraftKings. So this was a play that I found directly using Betting Pros, using the cheat sheet that I was just talking to you about. It's a 37.2% positive expected value play. Betting Pros gives him a 73.4% chance of going under and projects him to have about 17.2 points plus rebounds. Now, people are going to see Wizards versus Pacers. Everybody's going to want to hammer overs in this game because of the matchup. I get it. It's two disgusting defenses. I'm actually going the other way on this one. First of all, there's no Tyrese Halliburton. So I'm guessing that this game is not going to quite end up being the track meet that everybody projects. What makes Halliburton, he's amazing. Part of what makes him amazing is how elite he is at running the floor, pushing the pace and transition, and either taking it to the bucket himself or finding the open player. That's a really big key part of the offense that is going to be missing for the Pacers. And if the game slows down a little bit, that's just going to limit stat accumulation in general. Now, I also just like fading Deni in general. It's a very good fade of recent events. Excuse me. He's hit this in 2 straight games. That just makes me like the under even more. He's gone under. Sorry, something stuck in my throat. He's only gone over this number in 12 of 36 games this year. And he has yet to have a game this year in which he has cashed 3 times in a row, which doesn't really mean anything. It's not like he plays 2 games in a row and then is physically incapable of that 3rd game. What it really means is that he's just not a consistent player. So the fact that he's hit it 2 in a row makes me like the under even more, especially because I think the number is a little bit inflated due to the matchup. The Wizards and Pacers that played twice this year, he's gone under in both of those games. So the matchup, even when Halliburton is playing, hasn't done anything for him. So I like for Deni to go under. That's our 4th play. Next up, our 5th pick of the slate. We're taking Tyrese Maxey. This is in the Sixers versus Hawks game, I should say. Tyrese Maxey under 3.5 rebounds. This is best offered -125 odds per the Betting Pros consensus. I love Tyrese Maxey. He's an amazing player, but I like fading his rebound prop even more than I like him as a player. Even at -125 odds, the under is the play here. And I know that Embiid is out, so everybody thinks, oh, with Embiid out, Maxey takes over some of the load. Yeah, from scoring, absolutely. From rebounding, not so much. If anything, it opens up rebounding more for Tobias Harris and forwards and the backup centers, not really for Maxey, who's the point guard. This year, Embiid has missed 7 games. Maxey's gone under in 4 of them. Dating back to last year, Maxey has gone under in 11 of 19 games that Embiid has missed. Now, if you look at his entire season, it's a pretty drastic difference between the beginning of the year and now. He had 4 or more rebounds. He collected, whatever you want to call it, 4 or more rebounds in 12 of the first 16 games of the year. Since then, he has only gone over in 6 of 16. Maxey's rebound rate is about 5%. That's the lowest on the Sixers of anybody who's played enough minutes to actually qualify for that stat. And to prove her point even further, that Embiid being out doesn't help Maxey rebounds. If you take into account the on-off splits with Embiid off the floor, Maxey's rebounding rate is actually lower with Embiid off the floor. It dips below 5%. Now, his usage rate increases a ton, but the books are taking that into account. His point total over-under, last I checked, was at like 32.5. Now, that makes sense because of the matchup and his usage rate, but there's really no value on Maxey points, especially his over. There is value on his under, which I like hammering tonight. That is our 5th play. So we're 5 picks deep. Now I want to talk to you about the Betting Pros Discord. So if you are looking to up your game in sports betting, look no further than the sports betting Discord community. You can find it bettingpros.com/chat. In the Discord, Betting Pros has gathered a team of expert handicappers. I know college football's over. That's a bummer, but there's still plenty of sports and bets and plays to hammer. You can find free picks in the Discord, which I think is important, the fact that it is free. We're in the playoffs for the NFL. You're going to want to find sharp, valuable plays. You can find that in the Discord. NBA, NHL, player props, college basketball. Anything you can think of, you can find in the Discord. So get in on the action, connect with individuals such as yourselves. You can elevate your own personal betting strategy as well to help you become a better sports bettor yourself. So join us in the Discord today. Take your sports betting experience to the next level. We're halfway done. Whoa, we're halfway there. Lyndon in the chat asking Kings to win. I would say yes. I'm guessing the money line odds are not super favorable. I also do like the Kings still to win, and especially to win and cover, because the Hornets just beat the Kings like 8 days ago. So I actually think that that creates even more value on the Kings. It's not an official play, but to answer your question, I do think that the Kings win. And without looking at the spread, I would guess that they would cover as well. Next up, this is in the Thunder versus Heat game. We're taking Jaime Jaquez Jr. over 19.5 points plus assists. This is at plus 110 odds at DraftKings. And talk about what a steal that this guy has been for the Heat. It was so obvious the second he got drafted by the Heat that he was going to be an incredible player. That has become the case. In this game specifically, I like backing Jaquez because the Heat are going to be confirmed going to be missing Jimmy Butler. That's a big deal, which we'll get into. And they're most likely also going to be missing Kyle Lowry and Caleb Martin. They're both listed as doubtful, so it's unlikely that they play. Both Jimmy Butler and Caleb Martin have a higher usage rate than Jaquez Jr., so both of them being out does help with points and assists for him. Now, the person I care most about being out is Jimmy Butler. On the year, Butler has missed 12 games. Jaquez has gone over this number in 7 of those 12 games. And where he really sees an increase are his assists. With Butler off the court, Jaime Jaquez Jr., the real JJJ, the real Triple J, which I like to call him, his assist rate is 10%. That's with Butler on the court. With Butler off the court, it goes all the way up to 15%. So it's a pretty massive gap versus Butler on and off the court for his assists specifically. So again, I'm taking both points and assists. I do like his assist number individually as well. I just wanted to add in the points there. Now, it's been a colder stretch recently for Jaquez. He's gone under this number in 3 of 4 games. But look at the matchup in those 3 games that he missed and also in the 5 games that he's gone under overall. In the 5 games, he's played 3 of the best defenses in the NBA in which he's gone under: the Timberwolves, the Magic, and the Rockets. The 4th game he went under was against the Clippers, whose defense has been on fire for about 6 weeks or so. And then the 5th team that he went under against was the Suns. In terms of defensive rating, the Suns are mostly middle of the pack in how their defense is, but they're one of the toughest matchups for small forwards specifically. Now, the Thunder defense is good for sure. They're not quite as good as those other 4 defenses, and they're not quite as tough of a matchup as the Suns are. So for all those reasons, I like backing Jaquez Jr. in this one. I think he's going to have a good game. Next up, this is in the Rockets versus Bulls game. We're taking Alperen Sengun over 4.5 assists. This is at plus 100 odds at DraftKings. Now, this is a play where we are definitely fading recent results. I haven't done that a ton, really only the De'Aaron Fox one, but we were absolutely fading recent results in this one. Sengun has gone under this number in 4 straight games. And in this 4-game stretch, he's had 4, 1, 4, and 2 assists. So it's not been good recently. But I wanted to dig into the numbers just like I did with Fox. And on the year, Sengun has been very good from an assist passing perspective. He's had 5 or more assists in 20 of 35 games, which means that heading into this recent stretch, this 4-game cold streak, he had hit 5 or more in 20 of 31 games. On the entire year, Sengun is averaging 5 assists and 8.2 potential assists per game. So that's a much better percentage than what Fox is at. But if you look at the data since January 3rd, which is when the cold streak started, he's only averaging 2.8 assists per game in that stretch. But his potential assists are actually higher by a pretty decent amount. They're all the way up to 9.8 potential assists per game. So similar to the Fox play, that just tells me that he's been unlucky in terms of not getting the number of assists. The teammates are just missing shots, but nothing dramatically has changed in his role, passing, anything like that, which tells me that the assists are going to come and that this has been bad luck. Hopefully that starts tonight. This is a pretty good matchup against the Bulls. The Bulls are listed as the best matchup in the entire NBA when you're specifically looking at center assist props. Recently, Embiid had 10 assists against them on an over-under of 4.5. Prior to that, Jarrett Allen had 7 assists against the Bulls on an over-under of 2.5. So look for Sengun to have a good game tonight. We're 7 picks deep. Before we get into our last 3, I hinted at it. I want to talk to you about the 1-year premium subscription giveaway that you can be entered in. So if you want a chance to win a premium 1-year subscription, it's a place where you can bet smart, not bet hard. You get access to all the stuff that I've talked about on the stream. All you need to do is subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel and comment. Now, hopefully you have already been subscribed. If you are not, would appreciate if you could click that subscribe button. And then other than that, you just need to comment on the video and that's it. A winner will be announced right here on the channel. So make sure to turn notifications on so you can be alerted when new episodes drop, and then you can come in and claim your prize if you win the giveaway. Again, I cannot recommend the premium subscription enough. It's helped me out a ton. So definitely recommend getting in on that. Subscribe and comment. 3 picks deep. 2 of the 3 are plus money bangers, but not this one. This is the Pelicans versus Warriors game. We're taking Klay Thompson under 3.5 rebounds, minus 130 odds at DraftKings. So another rebound prop. This time we're fading Klay to go under 3.5, similar to the Maxey play. This is a situation where the win percentage is in our favor, so we're not fading recent results here. Klay has gone under this number in 6 straight games, including 2 games in that stretch in which he literally didn't get a single rebound. He didn't get one. On the year, Klay has he's gone over 4 or over 3.5 rebounds. He's gotten 4 or more in 15 of 35 games. And in games that Draymond misses, which is obviously a lot, you would think that, he's probably getting more. No, he's only gone over in 6 of 21 games that Draymond has missed. Now, we're paying for that win percentage at the minus 130 odds for sure. But I still like it at that number. And obviously, I still think it's a play, even at minus 130 odds. Similar to Maxey, of all the players in the Warriors that have played enough minutes to qualify, Klay has the lowest rebounding rate on the team at 6.46%. Yes, that means he's below even Chris Paul and Steph Curry. They're both above 7%. Now, you might think, okay, Paul's out. That probably means Klay's going to rebound more, right? Incorrect. Even with, if you isolate the data with Chris Paul off the court, Klay's rebounding rate is lower than it is than what we talked about. So his rebounding rate overall is 6.46. With Chris Paul off the court, it's lower at 6.3%. So yeah, it's not a huge difference, but it's still lower. So I like fading Klay, having him go under 3.5 rebounds. Next up, Nuggets versus Jazz game. Michael Porter Jr., 4+ made 3-pointers, plus 190 odds at DraftKings. Now we have our spiciest play of the night in terms of odds, our juiciest one. I love this one. It's a play, A, because of Michael Porter Jr.'s role in the Nuggets, and it's a play because the Jazz are one of the worst defenses in the NBA at guarding the 3-point line. So the Jazz are listed as the second best matchup for both power forwards and shooting guards when you're looking at 3-point props. And they're listed as the 4th easiest matchup against small forwards. That would be Michael Porter Jr.'s position. What that means is 3/5 of the position on an NBA court, the Jazz are a plus matchup for. And again, that includes Michael Porter Jr.'s position of small forward. I always say shooting forward, of small forward. As for Michael Porter Jr., his role in offense is to be a catch and shoot floor spacer. He leads the Nuggets in catch and shoot opportunities per game, and he shoots over 40% on those types of opportunities as well. Now, the Jazz have been playing better recently. They still struggle on defense behind the 3-point line. 4 of the last 5 small forwards against the Jazz have hit their 3-point prop. That includes low volume guys like Derrick Jones Jr., who hit one on an over-under of 0.5. That also includes higher volume guys like Tatum, who hit 5 3-pointers on an over-under of 2.5, or Bojan Bogdanovic, who hit 8, also on an over-under of 2.5. Michael Porter Jr. has hit 4 or more 3-pointers in 13 games so far this year. He's done it in 2 of 4 and in 3 of 8. And what I like is that he's done it in juicy matchups such as this one. Two of the times that he cashed in the last 10 games was against a very good matchup against the Hornets, another really bad defense. Now, he did miss this the first time these two teams played, but I like him to go over tonight. If he does, would be beautiful if he could cash this one for us. Now, our 10th and final pick of the slate in the Raptors versus Clippers game. James Harden, 10+ assists. You can get this per the Betting Pros consensus at plus 115 odds. Now, I've gone with Harden a couple times now. I'm pretty sure I had him on both of our streams last week on both Wednesday and Friday, and I'm pretty sure he came through for us both times. So I'm going to keep riding the Harden assist train as long as we can get good value. And again, kind of similar to some other, like the Fox one I mentioned earlier, the stats are night and day different with Harden at the beginning of the year versus more recently. He only hit 10 or more assists in 3 of the first 18 games of the season. Since then, he's done it in 8 of 13, and he's done it in 5 of his last 6. What I like is that he's done it both in good matchups, in terms of matchups where you expect him to have a lot of assists, and he's done it in tough matchups as well. So that's always nice where it's not always a matchup play, and that's not the case with Harden. He's also gone over 9.5 assists in 7 of the last 9 games he's played with Kawhi. Kawhi missed about a week or so earlier this year in December, but with Kawhi in the lineup, Harden's assist rate is pretty decently higher. Now, there's always a concern of Clippers guys missing games, but as of right now, none of them have an injury designation, so they should be fine for tonight. Now, looking at the matchup here, the Raptors defense is decent overall. Granted, they did take a hit when they traded away OG Anunoby. Yes, it helped them offensively for sure. It also for sure hurt them defensively. And the Raptors also seem to struggle on the second half of back-to-backs. Now, I don't want to put a ton of emphasis into that because that might just be noise. But the Raptors haven't won a single game on the second night of a back-to-back, and their defensive rating absolutely plummets. Now, again, that's not the reason why we're playing it, just because the Raptors are on the second night of a back-to-back. We're playing it because of how good Harden has been and the odds that we are getting. But I did just want to note that maybe there is something there. But that's all I got. That rounds out our 10th and final pick of the slate. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure to check out the app, bettingpros.com/apps, the Discord, bettingpros.com/chat. And then if you want to be entered for a 1-year premium subscription giveaway, subscribe and comment. You can find me basically anywhere at Jedi Modi. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Let's have a great day today, and I will catch you on Friday.